Hey guys, it's Rachel. What's up? Welcome back. Hope you're having a great day out there. And today we are making this sushi cake. I have no explanation really for why I all of a sudden wanted to make a sushi cake, other than the fact that I really like sushi. And then also, I recently made a giant sandwich cake, and I'll link that video down below if you want to check it out. But basically, I made that video, and I found out that working with fondant is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And so, I got really excited because that opens up a bunch more possibilities for different cakes we can make and different decorations we can do. And so, that is why we have a giant sushi cake today. It's not like a giant cake necessarily, it's just like giant sushi rolls. Overall though, I think it's a really fun cake and I hope you guys enjoy. And before we get started, if you like this video, make sure you tap that subscribe button and turn on those notifications as well. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. So first of all, into a large bowl, we're gonna work on the dry ingredients. You need 3 cups of cake flour, along with 2 cups of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a half teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Go ahead and whisk that all through, and then we can move on over to the reverse creaming process. If you've been watching my channel for a while now, you know that I have like an obnoxious love for reverse creaming. It works really well though. All you have to do is you add in the butter straight with the dry ingredients, and then you use a hand mixer and just blend it all through until you have kind of like a Parmesan cheese looking mixture. Not gonna lie, I know it sounds unappetizing to describe it as like Parmesan cheese, but it's exactly what it looks like, and it's so perfect for cakes. This way the butter coats every single little particle of flour, which gives you a super tender cake. And now we can move on over to the wet ingredients. For this you need 4 room temperature eggs, along with 1 cup of buttermilk, a half cup of canola oil, and 4 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Delicious. Okay, now you're gonna go ahead and mix it all through. Looks amazing. And now we're gonna add this in with our dry ingredients. Just pour it in nice and slow so you don't splash it everywhere. That'd be kind of sad, even though I do that all the time anyways. But then grab yourself a spatula and go ahead and fold it all through, get it nice and combined, and this looks amazing. This is probably one of my all-time favorite desserts, which is really saying something if you think about it, because it's just a plain vanilla cake, but it's so good. It's really rich and moist and flavorful, and overall, just like, it just tastes really good. So now we're just gonna pour this on into our cake pan. This is a 9 by 13 inch pan here. I've got it greased and then lined with parchment paper, and then spray it down once more. And then you're gonna bake that off at 350 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. You know it's ready when you can punch in a toothpick to the center and it comes out clean. Once it comes out of the oven, let it cool in the pan for about 10 minutes and then transfer it to a wire cooling rack and let it cool down completely. And now it's time to level off the cake. You guys know I love using these wire cake levelers as opposed to a serrated knife because I can't really cut in like a straight line for like the whole 13-inch cake. And then also, it's a lot less dangerous. I, as usual, am trying to keep all my fingers, like I always say. So go ahead and use a cake leveler, get it nice and flat, and then we can start working on these sushi. This is really easy. You'll want to start by cutting the cake in half because you're going to use half of the cake for the sushi board. And then with the other half, I just have a circle cookie cutter here, and I'm going to punch out 4 circles. These are for our maki rolls, basically like the cylinder ones. And then I'm also going to cut out some rectangles, and these are for the nigiri. I should probably know which one it is based on how much I like sushi, but I always kind of just like say it really fast when I go to restaurants so that they can't judge me. So yeah, anyways, cut out the rectangles for the rectangular sushi, and then we can start on the decorations. So I have some frosting here. Use any kind that you like. You could use vanilla. I have peanut butter here because I love peanut butter, and I'm just gonna spread that over the sushi roll just using an offset spatula. Then for the rice part on top, I'm gonna roll out some white fondant just on a surface that I've dusted with some powdered sugar. So go ahead and roll it out and then cut out a circle, and then we're just gonna pop that on top of our maki roll, smooth it out a little bit, and then for our other sushi, I'm gonna grab the fondant and just drape it over the cake and then smooth it out, cut away the excess, and then just tuck under those edges. Now it's time to move on to the seaweed. You could also call it nori if you want to be a little more authentic. But for this, you just want to roll out some black fondant. You want this to be relatively thin because nobody wants like a big mouthful of fondant. So go for about 1/8 of an inch or so, and I'm gonna roll that out into a nice long flat rectangle and then trim it with a pizza cutter just so I have straight edges. Then I'm gonna line this up with the maki and go ahead and roll it it up so that you have the edges all nice and covered with the seaweed or the nori, or there's no other word, but basically so it's all covered. And then repeat for all 4 of your rolls, and you can see you have a little cute plate now of plain sushi. But now we're gonna add on some toppings. So I'm gonna brush on some corn syrup onto the surface of the roll, and this way we can add on some little red hots. These are for some salmon roe. And then I'm also gonna repeat this to make some orange fish eggs too. I don't really know what kind of fish makes orange eggs, but I feel like I've seen this before, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then finally, I made some kind of generically sushi looking rolls. This is kind of like raw fish and egg and avocado, which I don't think is particularly like an actual thing, but I figured that you kind of get the idea. But that is our maki rolls, and then we're gonna move on to the nigiri. Oh my god, my Japanese friends are like cringing so hard right now. But these are really easy. I just made a rectangle of some raw fish using some more fondant. So I made a salmon one here, and I just decorated that by adding on some of these stripes to kind of mimic those fat lines in the salmon. And then I also made some tuna, and this I just textured with a toothpick to kind of give it that fish-like look on the surface. Then I'm just gonna stick this onto the little rice rectangle, and I'm using a little bit of water for that. And then to finish it off, we're gonna add some nori or seaweed, just with a nice thin strip of black fondant. And then to finish off all of our sushi rolls, I just added on some kawaii faces. I did some like happy ones, winky ones, basically the works. This just gives them so much character, makes them super kawaii. So we're gonna go ahead and finish up with that. And now the final step is time to make the sushi board that it comes on. For this, I'm gonna use the other half of our leveled off vanilla cake, and we're gonna go ahead and spread it with a nice thin layer of frosting. Then I'll take some tan fondant and just drape that over the cake. And then as per usual, just grab a sharp knife and cut away the excess, and then tuck under those rough edges. Then to make it look like real wood, I'm gonna grab a toothpick and just create that kind of wood grain by dragging the toothpick across. And then the final step is just to grab some cocoa powder and a food safe paintbrush, and I'm just gonna brush this over the surface. You could also use an airbrushing tool if you're really fancy and you have one of those. I only have a paintbrush and cocoa powder, so we're gonna go ahead and make it work with this. But then once you have that all finished, we're gonna go ahead and transfer it to a serving platter. And then the final step is just to add on our sushi pieces and arrange them so that they look nice. And now our sushi cake is finished. It looks so cute. I honestly didn't even want to eat it or cut into it because I loved it so much. But then I also really like vanilla cake, so I went ahead and destroyed it. But yeah, this makes for an awesome cake if you know anybody that loves sushi or just kawaii things in general. I had so much fun making this, and I hope you guys liked it too. And now that our cake is finished, let's go ahead and hop into the outro. Alright guys, our sushi cake is finished now, and I hope you all enjoyed. And if you like this video, make sure you tap that subscribe button and turn on those notifications as well. You can follow me on social media at kawaiisweetwearld. The blog post is right up there, and my last video is linked right down there. Alrighty, well take care guys, love you all so much, and I'll see you all back here very soon. Bye guys!